Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHIM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHIM, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the mighty Akim and Akwat out there who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. And today's topic, I'm going to be going into how, you have these devils are stealing from the Israelites, and they also act as if they did us a favor. Okay, but basically, firstly, because the reason why I say that, because when they say, "Oh, we came and civilized you, you so-called black people, we came and civilized you Native Americans or whatever. We made the whole world technologically advanced." That's basically what they say. But no, that's not the case. So I'm going to go into that. But first, John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have a life, and that they might have it more abundantly. So now, basically, we want to give our people life. We want to allow our people to live abundantly. Okay, we don't come to steal, we don't come to kill, but Esau, Edom, all these heathens, they are the thieves that are stealing and killing from us, and we're going to get into that. Okay, first with this video.
White people think, I find it crazy how white people think they brought civilization here instead of interrupting it. Like, you genuinely think Africa, with all its resources, culture, philosophy, medicine, and education, needed you? You interrupted our civilization. You didn't give us one. In fact, every place you colonized, you held us back. In fact, if you think we're doing so badly, leave and watch us progress without you. You didn't bring any culture. You didn't bring any resources. You didn't bring any technology. All you brought was capitalism and homophobia and racism. And then
right quick, I just want to put a disclaimer. I don't fuck with that homophobia thing. But literally outside of that, everything else he's saying is on point.
Imperialism by taking more land. The technological advances, the art, the natural resources. How is it that the countries that are so-called advanced are the same countries that did all the colonizing? You think that's a coincidence?
So basically, what I think he didn't fully go into is the fact that they're saying that these countries that are colonized, are techno advanced because of them. That's basically what they're trying to say. But they fail to realize. What he's trying to say is the fact that because to their standard, it is techno advanced. That's what he's basically trying to say. Okay, that's why they say this country is advanced because they were already there, and they put their stamp or whatever on it. Okay, or fucked it up. Continuing on to another video. This is actually a very good video. I literally did not know the true definition of a $5 Indian. I just thought it was knockoff. Well, it is knockoff, and they're gonna tell you the history about that. So let's see.
1895 and 1896, when a lot of the whites found out the benefits that these blacks are going to be entitled to, a lot of whites went to the Dawes Commission and say, look, why don't you put my name on there? They said, but you're not an Indian. So that's what they said, well, I'll give you $5. So the rule got around, the policy got around that for $5, that a white could put his name on the Dawes rolls and be called himself an Indian and be entitled to all these benefits, and all their children could be entitled to all these benefits forever. And so that became known as what's called a $5 Indian. And so if you go around now and check most of the Indians, the so-called Indians in America, about 90% of them are not even Indians. Those are just whites now who are passing as Indians. but they're getting all the benefits. And they're not paying any taxes, getting free college education. They put up a little reservation on the land that they don't live on. They have another home off and get all kind of benefits.
Okay, so very clearly, like this is actually really crazy. I was so surprised when I first heard it. There is a majority of so-called Native Americans that will claim that they're Native Americans, but are not actually Native Americans. Okay, you have these Edomites who have the audacity to claim, oh yeah, my grandfather, my grandmother, whatever, is a Native American, so yeah, I'm a Native American. When it's they literally lied to get benefits. Oh my god, it cost them $5. Obviously $5 isn't as much to us now, but I'm pretty sure it would have been a lot more back then. But the main thing is, like, they stole their identity. They stole the Gadites' identities. All right. Like a precept, very quick. Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So even more so. So we understand that that's those fake Jews, those Ashkenazi Jews that are saying, I'm a Jew and whatever, but it goes even further than that, because you have those fake Jews that are pretending to be, Israelites, as well as, you have these Edomites that are claiming to be Gadites and getting benefits from them. Okay, so a lot of times, if you might hear someone say, oh yeah, I'm a Native American, and they look, there's two sides to it. Okay, there are some Edomites that might actually be Native Americans, but there's also Edomites that will claim Native American heritage because of their ancestors doing what this was, because he said in the 1800s, I believe. So they obviously, that with that going all the way down, they might not have been familiar, or they might not have told their descendants or whatever, oh yeah, we lied, we're not really the stuff, but go ahead, I'll let you think that you're a so-called Native American, so you can get all the benefits, as the benefits that he listed: free education, some land, tax exemption and whatnot. Like, they're finding any way to steal from us. They will not, as I said in John 10:10, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill. So they stole, and they went around killing us, as they are still killing us now. All right. Now, finally, this last video.
1800s, there was something called the Dawes Rolls, which was basically a census that made records of people's ethnic backgrounds in order to determine which Native American tribes would get certain land allotments and other benefits. After slavery, many black people were associated with some of these tribes by bloodline, through marriage, through adoption, and even servitude. And because they were associated with these tribes, many black people were entitled to some of these benefits. The government did not want blacks to get these benefits, so they created a separate freedmen's list specifically for black people. They also started to list any full-blooded Native American who had African features as black, because they didn't want them getting those benefits either. At the same time, they allowed white citizens to come in and pay money under the table to be listed as part Native American.
Okay, so yeah, basically the same thing, but I get this. This gives a bit more information in a different way. So, again, it's the Edomites are claiming to be so-called Native Americans, but we also know that they are pushing. They're trying to push out the so-called Native Americans as well as the so-called black people from the benefits that they were, I guess, promised or whatever. So they tried to. They basically said, okay, so yeah, you know what? Move out the way. Let's get these Edomites and give them the benefits instead. Okay, and that it's once again crazy because they were stealing our identity. Okay, they stole the Gadites' identity, and then they said, oh, well, these are so-called Native Americans and whatnot, so we're going to give it to them and whatnot. And then they just leave the real Native Americans as well as the so-called I say Slocky, I'm mixing myself up because Native Americans, yes, they're not native to America. We know that they're Israelites, but I just say Native Americans in the sense that this land belongs to them. That's why I feel a little more okay with saying Native Americans, but at the end of the day, they are Gadites. So the Gadites, they're saying that the Gadites aren't, and they're claiming the Gadites property for themselves. All right. Now, Lamentation chapter 5, from the top. Remember, O Yahawah, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. Okay, so our inheritance is turned to strangers. All that was all the benefits, the land, literally everything was taken from the Gadites and given to the Edomites, or the strangers and the aliens. Okay, and one of the things I feel like I should mention every time I bring up Native Americans is a very similar, virtually all the same virtually completely replicated situation happened in Japan, where the Japanese did basically everything that the so-called white man did to the Native Americans. The Japanese did basically everything to the Ainus, which are the native Japanese people. Okay, so I feel like I should definitely mention that every time, because we need to get this word out to all the lost sheep, and in order for the lost sheep to in order for all the elect to be sealed, everyone needs to know. And with the fact that I have this information, I need to let whoever needs to hear this know, so that if through my research the natives of Japan are able to hear, and they are able to come to this truth, even though they probably don't speak English, or whoever is immigrating or whatever, then they can hear, they can translate, they can do their part, just as we are doing our parts as so-called black people, as well as educating and letting the so-called Native Americans know, so that the so-called Native Americans can go and inform their people. So just the duty is, if you are so-called Ainu that understands English or whatever, you have to study up, you have to learn, you have to go let your people know as well, because the chances of the chances of a Israelite that's in this truth preaching this word in Japanese to the lost sheep in Japan is very scarce, sparse or whatever. And as well as all the other nations as well. It doesn't just stop at America. It doesn't just stop at Japan. It goes in all four corners of the earth, every single country, there are lost sheep. And there's also going to be lost sheep that looks like all the other nations. So there might be some Japanese that look like, there might be some Ainu that look like Japanese, as there are, there's also, what's the word?
Dolls.
Native Americans that look like Edomites, okay? Because during the time, there was back then, there was a lot of raping going on, as well as just the fact that the Native Americans were the Native Americans the Native American men had to integrate, and they got with Edomite women. So as time went on, you know, as the next generation goes down to the next generation, they the children would continue to look more and more like the Edomites. Okay, so because a lot of times there was the children were kidnapped and put into this school thing in America, not even just America, but the continent of North America. So it's also in Canada as well, and they the kids, you know, were basically re-educated to think and act like so-called Edomites or so-called white people, which are in fact Edomites. Okay, so with that, you know, that's also what that exact thing also happened in Japan, which I did my research. They basically had kidnapped Ainu children and re-educated them to act and follow under Japanese thing. So I'm sure that there's also more stories, because I also heard about Tibet in China as well, but I didn't really do all the research, and I've not had the time to go do it, and I might not get the chance. But Yahawadah, if the Spirit guides me to do that or to focus on Ainu, then that's where I'm gonna go and do whatever the Spirit leads me to do. So with that, yeah, I just want to let it be known that all across the globe, all right. And also I did a video, the video to the Ainu things, which includes my research and how a majority, if most of the similarities with the Gadites match up. I'm gonna link a video probably in the description or at the end of this video. So Salakia, continuing on, Lamentation chapter 5 verse 3, we are orphans and fatherless, our mothers are as widows. So yeah, another thing, well, like I said, they kidnapped the children and they put them into some schools where they re-educate them, so they didn't have any they didn't have their parents. Okay, they were just taught as like orphans. And also when they were in those schools, okay, just assume anytime I say Native American, I'm just pretend like I'm also saying Ainu, because again, everything is just a parallel. It literally happened to them, and I promise you, it is basic. It is exactly the same. So when the Native Americans were had their children kidnapped, they also had their husbands killed when they were fighting against the invaders or the Edomites. They also had their wives or the mothers raped and taken into Edomite man's household, again for more to the integration, as well as if the father or the husband was alive, or just a man in general, they would be sent to go working far away from their families. They separated families. All right, they did that both in Native Americans as well as Ainus. But yes, I already said that they did that. I already said it's the same thing. Verse 4, we have drunken our water for money, our wood is sold onto us. So yeah, it is very clear that everything that we have, everything that we need, all of our essentials, that's basically what it's saying. Water for money and food, and our wood is sold to us. So that's basically all the essentials to living, not exactly, but metaphorically, all the essentials to living. We have to buy it from our enemies, even though that this is our thing. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, metaphorically, that's what it says, and slack you for the background noise. But metaphorically, it's water sold unto us, meaning whatever we need to eat and drink and whatnot, and then the wood is sold to us, all the essentials that we need to like build a house or whatever, that we have to buy from our enemies, our oppressors. Okay, so verse 5, our necks are under persecution, we labor and have no rest. Again, the Native Americans are always, or the natives are under oppression because the invaders just basically they make them work, and then they don't have any rest. And also there was another video I want to show about that. Okay, this is basically the life that we have to live. All right, which is pretty sad. I'm gonna get into that, but verse 6, we have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have bore their iniquities. Okay, our fathers have sinned, meaning our ancestors have sinned. Okay, and we have to pay for that. But again, we are our ancestors. Okay, because of regeneration. Verse 8, servants have ruled over us. There is none that doeth deliver us out of their hands. Servants have ruled over us. These Edomites are the actual true servants. Okay, and let me get this quick precept and from Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 8 7 verse 7. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 7. I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So that's the servants on horses are the Edomites, or the heathens in general, and then the princes walking as servants are the Israelites. All right, so now let's watch this quick video.
Europe was that work destroyed century Europe was that work destroyed workers, particularly those who had nothing to sell but their labor. To the mill and factory owners, a worker was simply an abstract idea with a stomach that needed to be filled. The workers had no choice but to toil long hours for a pitiful wage. What was worse, their labor alienated them. Alienation is a disorienting sense of exclusion and separation. Factory labor, under capitalism, alienated the workers from the product of their labor. They made stuff they couldn't afford to buy, which disappeared to shops in far-off places to make money for people who paid them next to nothing. The factory production line split jobs into meaningless tasks that made the hours at work tedious, empty, and bleak. They became cogs in a gigantic machine. Workers lived for the few hours at home when they could eat, sleep, and relax. The rest of the time, they weren't fully alive. This work also alienated them from each other. The only way out of this drudgery, Marx argued, was for the workers to organize and revolt. They needed to seize the means of production, leading to his famous rallying cry, "Workers of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains."
All right, so no, that's a very sad reality, because it is basically like that. There's a whole bunch of work that needs to be done. We are working so many hours, but at the end of the day, like with so many hours and the minimum wage that we get from it, it's barely enough for us to live, and then we don't really get to enjoy ourselves because we're not making a lot. It's really just like, it's miserable, honestly. Okay. And Micah chapter 2 from the top: woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is the power in their hand, is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore thus saith the Most High: behold, against his family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. In that day shall one take up a parable against you, and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He hath changed the portion of my people, and how hath he removed it from me? Turning away, he hath divided our fields. So basically, during the time that the Edomites first came, they just stole and took everything from the natives. Okay, so it all goes into that. It's they came, they stole, and now they oppress. They continue to steal. They make us work for them, and then as we are working for them, we have to pay them for the things that we do, for the things that we reap. Okay, like it's a very vicious and terrible cycle that just that's constant, keeps on going, and there's really nothing to do but wait on the Most High to deliver us. Okay, which Proverbs say not. Oh, okay. Proverbs chapter 20, I believe, verse 12. No, Proverbs chapter 20, verse 22. Say not thou, I recompense evil, but wait on the Most High, and he shall save thee. So again, this video was saying that they all had to reunite and revolt and whatever, but for us it's different, because we're not gonna be able to deliver ourselves. We have to wait on the Most High, and keep on laboring, not only in this world to make a living and to sustain ourselves, but labor in this truth and work for the Most High, so that we can get this word out to all the four corners, and then we can leave. Okay, that's basically it. We can leave, we can be delivered, and we can live abundantly, as it says in John 10:10. I am come, John 10:10. I am come that they might have life, and they might have it more abundantly. So that's what we want: abundant life, not that whole dead thing. Because as she was saying, they weren't really alive, I believe.
Allusion up to their shops in far-off places. Production line, the hours at work tedious, empty and bleak. They became cogs in a gigantic machine. Workers lived for the few hours at home when they could eat, sleep, and relax. The rest of the time, they weren't fully alive.
So that's very beautiful, because they weren't fully alive. All right, like if you are in this truth. If you are in this, I'm gonna have to use this for another video. If you're in this truth, you are going to be, you're Slakia. If you're in this truth, you have life. Okay, but when if you're not in this truth, you're dead. You're spiritually dead. You're physically dead, because all that you're working towards is just some empty, meaningless job. Okay, like that has to pay your bills. All right. And with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Most High YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And with that, I want to say Shalom.